Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Resonant Frequencies. I'm your host, Nand, and in today's topic, we're going to talk about guides and what they are. So, very simply put, a guide is a soul that has moved on from this particular plane of life. It could be a relative that has passed on, like a sibling, an uncle, an aunt, a parent, a grandparent, or it could be someone that travels with you through the various lives if we're still connecting ourselves to the concept of past lives. Guides are there to basically assist you in this lifetime and on your journey. And mostly they represent themselves as a frequency that's very subtle. Let's talk a little bit more about what guides do. For now, if you are enjoying this episode, please hit the like button, the share button, ring the bell, and subscribe. We want to reach a certain number of subscribers so that more people can learn about just topics that are commonplace that might be confusing to most. All right, so let's go back and start off with our journeys in this particular lifetime. So we'll be presented with challenges to overcome during this current lifetime while our soul is in the body that we're in. And each challenge will have perhaps multiple layers of decision making. What if scenarios are very, very common? What if I did this? What if I didn't do that? How would that impact my next steps in this lifetime? Now, because we don't have a guidebook or an instruction manual to tell us really what the challenge is in this lifetime, we have to rely on a couple of things. One of the things we rely on is a form of meditation. And meditation, as I've indicated before in past episodes, is a vehicle that can also connect you to your higher self. Your higher self has a clarity of what the challenges are and perhaps how to overcome those challenges. Failing that, or in addition to that, you can rely on your guides. So again, guides are people or souls that you've known either through lifetimes or in the current life who have passed on. And they help guide you. So, for example, if I'm in the kitchen and I'm supposed to cook a meal for a party of 12, and I'm unfamiliar how to cook a certain recipe, I may ask a guide. And let's say that guide might have been my mother. And let's say that that guide, who was my mother, was an excellent cook when she was around. I can lean into her and say, so, are these the correct ingredients? Am I cooking it or baking it long enough? Am I going to have to put some seasoning into this? Shall I plate it in this plate? Shall I account for people that are not able to digest certain ingredients and make a separate batch for them? Might be the kinds of questions that we want to ask. And interestingly enough, while it may not be clairaudient, that is, we may not be clairaudient and cannot tune into that aspect, but a thought or two will be whispered into our ears, and we could argue that we did hear the whisper, and we can argue, well, we just thought that whisper. Doesn't make a difference, because we're cooking something, and we've been given some guidance and instructions and help from an expert or someone who we believe to be an expert in that. So I would call this guide a guide to help me cook in very simple terms. There are others that might come in and give you some insight, some wisdom on, let's say, raising children, interacting with your immediate family, interacting with your colleagues and your superiors at your work. If you were a writer, for example, and you were stuck on a character or a scene in your book, then there might be a guide who could come in and assist you in terms of the direction of that book. So you're starting to understand that. Now, most of the time when we are out of body, we have a higher resonance about us. And so that subtle body is allowed to indulge in a higher frequency. And their wisdom, because they're not stuck in a physical body, which has to deal with, issues of a regular body, like I need sleep, I'm hungry, I need to eat, those sort of things, they then are free of those boundaries and burdens and are able to freely give information, but you have to ask for it. That kind of indicates and describes what a guide is. A question you might have is, how many guides do each of us have? Most of us have a number of guides, and this could range in number from 1 or 2 to as many as you need, given a circumstance. So when I look at someone and I'm ready to do a session on them, I indulge in their field to see if they have guides. And if they have guides, I have a chit-chat with the guides so I can get more information in addition to what I may find in the akasha of the individual. Guides typically are friendly, they are communicative, and they're fun to have an interaction with. So it doesn't make a difference how many we have, but if you want to find that out, a good clairvoyant would be able to discern that for you. And if you can't find someone, come back to us and we'll tell you how many you might have at a given time. Because they come and go. As in my earlier example of cooking, if I'm cooking that particular meal, and when I've completed it, I have no need for that assistance, therefore the guide will go elsewhere until next I need that guide. I hope that makes things clear. So we've talked about, are they around us? How many are there? What do they do? And basically, in addition to giving us guidance and wisdom on certain challenges we may have, they assist in coordinating with your higher self to help you take the correct steps or inform you of what the correct steps might be as you progress in this lifetime. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. So in the future, when I talk about guides, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Again, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And please go ahead and spread the word so that more people can have that same language and that we can talk with that language. I look forward to our next episode. Thank you.